A pilot report of the ICPC Academy indicates that the judiciary tops the list of agencies of government that are most corrupt for bribes and related stuff. ICPC reports indicates that judiciary tops the list with 9.4 billion naira given and taken between 2018 and 2020. How did that happen? Let's have this conversation with Dr. Paul Ananaba, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria and is still with us here in the studio. Well, overall, let me quote that report. Overall, the justice sector had the highest level of corruption with a score of 63. The level of corruption in the justice sector was heightened by stupendously high amounts of money offered as bribes to judges by lawyers handling high electoral and other political cases. How do you react to that?
Well, like my friend, the statistician from Channels, good news, bad news. The good news is that we are beginning to actually think deeply about the wrong things that are going on in this country. The bad news is that the last hope of the common man is finally threatened. Going beyond that, I have much respect for ICPC and Professor Wasonye, who is the head of ICPC, is a serious-minded Nigerian. I happen to have been his student at some point at my postgraduate level. So before the IPC, I think it was a very commendable appointment. Those are the quality of Nigerians I believe we need at this stage. And I believe and trust that he will continue on the trajectory I had known him as a student. So if he issues a report, I know the thought process that will go through it. Going further from that, I want to say that when problems come in this manner and issues come, the judiciary is often seen placed in a position that it cannot react, it cannot respond, it cannot join issues. That's not to say that the judiciary is a sent organization. There is corruption in the judiciary. And when you just lump it at judiciary, it becomes tough to know, are you talking about the judges?
Okay, so...
Are you talking about the court staff, officials? Are you even talking about lawyers? There are still lawyers in the judiciary. Are you talking about the profession itself? But put together, there is corruption across all the lines. But not at the. I don't think it will. It should be. I don't believe, and I don't accept that the judiciary will be at the top of that table, because even the corruption level really should be beyond 9 billion.
Oh, you're saying that it probably is more in the
judiciary? It should be.
Well, the reports...
Sorry, just a moment. To quickly reference what you said, a number of categories were mentioned in the judiciary, just as you said. Talked about judges,
yes,
talked about lawyers,
yes,
and talked about court officials.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it even went to break down the lawyers to male and female. Yeah. Male taking the cake more than 60%,
yeah,
and the females taking about 30%, all of that. So that breakdown is definitely there. What is troubling, which, as you have said, is that the judiciary is the last hope of the common man as we speak. So if at that level we're having such level of corruption that's likely to rob people of justice, then where goes the common man?
Well, the common man will be where he is, because the process is disadvantageous to the common man. Now, if you don't have funds, if you don't have money, it's difficult for you to even get quality representation. I mean, in many cases, you see that your lawyer may not be in court if you don't provide the resources for him to be in court. And the issue of justice, the legal aid counsel, what does it do? With pro bono cases, what seriousness goes to pro bono cases? I wish you will I speak from the point that I heard the public interest section of Nigerian Bar. You will find out that even when cases are given, we do this on pro bono. If a lawyer is offered 1 million naira, for example, to come and do a case, and he has a pro bono case, which one will he go first in Nigeria? Which one will put fuel in the vehicle? So those are the issues. So we need that type of reassessment of our judicial architecture. And again, let me go back to that report about the judiciary being the highest. Particularly during election times, it is politicians that take their wars to the judiciary, to the judges, to the judicial officers. Some of these politicians are the ones who appointed those judges. And sometimes it is payback time. Take the judge, a governor, a president that appointed you or made you head of a court. And it comes to the person's case. Well, you need strong character and integrity to stand your ground. And again, not long ago, you began to see that even security agencies could break into judges' houses, take them out at any time. The issues that have arisen from executive orders in respect of salaries and which goes to the independence of the judiciary have not been thoroughly addressed. I'm aware of judges, chief judges, that will go from their governors and another, say, capping and asking for funds. Many of the judges have no vehicles. If they have rickety vehicles. Many of them have no courtrooms. This one will sit from this time to this one. The other one come and sit.
So you think that maybe increasing funding for the judiciary might solve this?
It will go a long way. Not only increasing funding, but other indices, other things that will guarantee independence of the judiciary. Now, when a judge can be, you know that if a judge is removed, that judge cannot practice law again. Unlike overseas, when in certain countries overseas, where if you are removed as a judge, you take your dust, your weekend gown, and go to court. Then you can stand your ground.
Well, you know, this report also says they were offered. Some of them rejected it, actually, because it's more of a pilot survey.
Yes.
The report itself will be out eventually, which will break down across different sectors. For now, what we have is the executive, legislature, the judiciary, and private sector. Those were just the 4 sectors. But as we wind down, is there a mechanism, really, for judges to report people that offer them bribes? Because clearly, people offer, but it appears as though we don't get to hear about it. Maybe they just reject and let it slide. Is there a mechanism for that in the judiciary?
Yes. Yes. Starting from the judge has oddly. Every judge has oddly. Police oddly. The judge is a Nigerian. And every avenue to report crime is available to the judge. But the point is, if the judge reports a powerful politician, because most of the people who offer these bribes are not the ordinary Nigerians you're talking about. They are not the ordinary lawyers. And now there's a backlash. The judge against the person who offers the bribe. These bribes are not offered in the marketplace. It becomes a back and forth. Who will lose at the end of the day? Is there a protection? Those are the areas to also look at. So the legal profession is a solemn profession. So sometimes the judges will, for fear of what I've just told you, continue to die in silence and cry. So it is the bar that can come to their rescue sometimes to say, this is going on. But then, look at some states where the most senior judges, which is the tradition of the bar, are not allowed because they are not, they do not, play along.
Well, Dr.
They are not allowed to be confirmed as chief judges. So if there's the tradition and it is there, you know that if you give your judgment, it will not affect your growth and your ascendancy. You continue, but if you now see that if you don't do what the politician says, even when it is not just, you will lose out and nothing will happen.
There are so many issues to look at, so many angles to look at this from, Dr. Ananaba, because one would wonder, okay, so if it's about individuals, then where is the institution? But we could go on and on about this, but perhaps another time we'll be able to take it up. But we have to thank you very much for your time and thoughts this morning. Dr. Paul Ananaba is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Thank you again. And also chairman of SPILO, the NBA section that he heads. We're back in a moment. Do stay with us.